All right, let's see who is missing. Make sure we have a quorum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not able to read the full names for some reason on my screen. Who is missing?
Oh, Susan.
Susan.
Okay, all right.
Actually, let me double check on that. I think she said, let me, Susan Messenger. Let me double check. I think she, hi Guido, I will miss the July, oh, she sent this to me last Saturday. I will miss the July 15th meeting.
I've only got 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6. 6 out of 7.
I only see 5.
Can I have the commissioners put the cameras on
Yeah, Richard didn't put
while
his
we
on.
do quorum? We can make sure they're there.
So sorry.
Thank you. All right, let's start with items, public items not on the agenda. Public comment. Do we have anything?
Have what?
I'm asking staff, is there anyone that wants to speak on items?
I do not believe so, Chair Butler.
Okay, great. Let's move. Sorry, my page just shut down. Okay, let's go to public hearing, item number 1. California Water Service, E21-0001. Start with the staff report.
Yeah, Sean will be presenting for staff tonight.
Okay.
Go. Good evening. Good evening, Chair Bodnar and Commissioners. This is a conditional use permit request to allow a modification to an existing use permit for pre-existing community facility use, which is at the site is currently an existing potable water pump station. The proposal is to replace an existing hydro pneumatic tank with a new and similar size tank at 887 Highland Circle. The project site is located at 887 Highland Circle. It's designated as public and institutional as a land use, and it is zoned single family R110. This site the City Council approved a variance and use permit in 1957, which authorized the 250,000 gallon steel tank, the hydropneumatic pressure tank, the booster pump station, and the enclosed one-story structure. The council also approved the fencing and the plantings, which when I checked the plans were the same plants as they are today. A variance permitted a 35-foot front yard setback, an 18-foot left east side setback, and a 13.6-foot rear yard setback. This property is immediately adjacent to single family on the left and right, 889 and 885 Highlands Circle. This provides a little closer up view of the site, and that is in the dotted area is the location of the existing tank. The proposed hydro pneumatic tank proposes a 63.4 foot side setback on the left side, a 35-foot right side setback, and a 69.5 foot rear setback. It does, you know, as viewing on the screen, on the previous project, they did have a 34.5 foot front setback where the variance required a 35 or permitted a 35. The applicant, based on staff's recommendation, revised the tank location by shifting it back slightly so that it did meet the minimum variance requirement for the 35-foot setback. And so it is now being proposed at 35.5 feet, which is consistent with the variance requirement for 35. The diagram, let me see, did I get that right? The diagram before you here provides a section detail of the tank, and that's available for you in your packet. The site is enclosed with a 6-foot tall wood fence with 2 feet of lattice. The 25-foot front yard is landscaped with Pfister juniper and 4 Monterey pine trees, and side and rear yards are planted with Monterey pine trees. This is a diagram, an updated diagram. In the center right of the screen is a small notation that is titled proposed pressure tank. It is visible slightly behind the fence, and that is also conveyed in your packet. The Planning Commission, in order to approve the project, is required to make specific findings for the use permit, and they're conveyed in the staff report. Staff did convey in the report that the project's location will not be injurious to persons or properties within the immediate vicinity. The hydrodynamic tank will be operating at a 65 PSI, and the tank is rated at 270 PSI. Which provides substantial safety factor for operations. In addition, Cal Water, in their letter to the Planning Commission, did advise that they do conduct every 5-year inspections to ensure that corrosion does not compromise the integrity of the tank. The proposed replacement of the hydrodynamic tank will not result in any unreasonable noise impacts to adjoining lots, since the proposed hydrodynamic tank is in approximately the same size and location. The Los Altos general plan identifies maximum noise thresholds depending on use that are acceptable for uses to receive. The normal acceptable noise levels is 70 decibels for utility sites. The general plan exterior noise contour map does reflect that the existing conditions in that area is 70 decibels, and the expectation is the existing site will operate within the acceptable levels permitted. The potential exposure, and I'll continue the next slide, sorry. Construction is planned for 6 weeks, and during that time, Cal Water will construct and will abide by construction hours as required per code, and they will minimize noise impacts to the community during construction. During the active entire construction period, equipment and trucks shall utilize best noise control techniques, and trucks and heavy equipment will be prohibited from idling. Staff does believe the renovation of the pre-existing facility is an appropriate location, desirable or essential to public health and safety, comfort and convenience, prosperity or welfare. The proposed location of the conditional use is in accordance with the objectives of the zoning plan as stated in chapter 1402. Does not create any negative impacts in regards to public health and safety, and it is consistent with the objectives of the zoning ordinance in regard to section 1406 and also the applicable sections of the PCF district regulations. This concludes staff's presentation unless there are any questions. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for staff?
I just have one quick question for Sean. Is there any history, I mean, you may or may not know, any history of complaints about any of the noise or anything like this from the existing?
No, we have not learned of any history of complaints regarding noise. The representative from Cal Water is available to potentially answer that additional question, and staff has not received any neighborhood input or comments or letters regarding this application.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I have a question. What's the expectation of how many years before this to be replaced again? I'm trying to understand the life of this 1957's approval.
What's the life cycle?
Yeah.
I don't have that, but I would expect the representative from Cal Water is available and potentially could answer that question for you.
So we would expect it to last at least another 50 years.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna, if there are no other questions, I'm gonna open for public comment. Yeah, sorry.
I do have a question too. regarding the pressure aspect, is there any
All right,
danger of?
can I ask who's asking the question right now?
He's from the public.
I'm
Okay, so this is an opportunity right now for members of the Planning Commission
okay. Sorry.
to ask questions. And then what I'll do is I will open it up to members of the public to speak for 2 to 3 minutes, probably actually 3 minutes. And in that time period, you can ask questions. You're not going to get, it's not going to be a dialogue. You're not going to get responses. But if it is a question that the planning commissioners would also like to hear an answer to,
Okay, got it.
we will give the applicant an opportunity to answer. And also, I guess the applicant should also, so first, before I open up to the public, now that staff has done the report, next step would actually be for the applicant to speak. And if they want to reserve some time for after public comment, they can do that and then have an opportunity maybe to answer a question. If,
Could I ask one question?
yeah, go ahead.
Do they transfer the 5,000 gallons of water to another tank? We certainly don't want to, I know they're not going to waste it, but what happens to the existing water?
Staff does not have a response to that question, but we do have the representative from Cal Water, and during their presentation, they could potentially answer that question for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One quick question. What are the hours of operation for Cal Water to conduct the construction?
It would be our normal construction hours, which I can pull up for the commission.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is now turn to the applicant and give them an opportunity to make their presentation, and let us know when you're done with the presentation if you'd like to reserve a little time to respond to questions. You don't have to.
So my name is Nathan Haukshaw. I'm the design engineer for California Water Service. So I didn't actually prepare a presentation, but I'm here to answer any questions anyone has.
Okay, so I think Commissioner Roche had a question.
Can you
Yes,
tell us?
about draining the water.
Yes.
So the tank is actually connected to the water system right now. So we'll just drain the tank to the distribution system, and then we will disconnect it. So the water won't go on the ground or be wasted or anything.
Thank you.
Okay, if anyone else has questions for the applicant, any commissioners have questions for the applicant? If not, I will open it up for public comment. Okay, seeing no questions, let's go to public comment, and I'll have staff manage that.
Sure. Chair Bodnar, let me just go down the list real quick. There was the Victor Owing. Let me unmute this person.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Okay.
sir. You have 3 minutes. So.
Yeah, no, it's just one question I have is like, what are the risks because it's under a lot of like these pressure of some kind of explosive failure, and is there like a radius to be concerned about? That's it. Nothing else.
So it's not it's under 65 pounds of pressure or psi of pressure, which is the same as your tap water. It's not under any exceptional amount of pressure. And as Sean said, steel is rated for 275 psi, so it's much less than the rating.
Thank you.
Any other? Yeah.
Chair Bodnar, we have one other person who hasn't been identified. 650-390-0284. Unmute that person. Did you want to speak on this item?
Actually, I am the production superintendent for California Water Service, so I had to call through on another line.
No problem. Well, welcome to the meeting. Let me mute you, unless you had something to add. So.
No, just wanted to make sure I would join the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Chair Bodnar, I believe that's everybody's been accounted for.
Okay, great. So seeing no more public comment, I'm gonna close close that and open it up for discussion or a motion.
Sure, I move to approve the application by, let me read the application, California Water Service at 887 Highlands Circle for the request for a renovation of the pre-existing community facility based on the comments and the revisions made by the staff in the staff report.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Great. Let's go to vote.
Let me just go down the list, Chair Bodnar. Commissioner Ahi,
Yes.
Commissioner Steinle,
Yes.
Commissioner Roach,
Yes.
Commissioner Merrick,
Yes.
and Chair Bodnar,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Doran.
Yes.
Okay. Motion approved.
Great.
Chair, if I may, I think Vice Chair wanted some information about the hours of construction. Guido, did you pull that up?
Yeah, Sean actually put it in the chat, but
Oh,
residential,
you put it in the chat. Oh, okay.
residential construction hours are 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday and 9 to 3 on Saturdays.
Yeah, thanks. It was the Saturday hours I was wondering about. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Joel.
Okay, great. Moving to commissioner reports and comments. There were meeting, when was our last meeting?
June 10th?
June 10th? Okay, so it looks like there have been a couple meetings since. Any report out?
I was at the June 8th meeting.
Okay.
And it's a housing element update with the consultant agreement with Lisa Weiss. That was detailed, went through lots of questions. Guido made a presentation on the website concerning the public survey that they do. And nothing extraordinary. I think it was held over until the next meeting for review of questions that had come up. We had previously, the committee had previously looked at some of these objective standards. So nothing that new that I could see.
Okay. Any other report out?
Well, there was a meeting earlier this week. I don't know who was going to report on it. I was there, so if you want, I can just quickly.
Sure, yeah,
That
report on.
the council looked at the, it slipped out of my mind. What were the, Guido? It was the.
Objective
Oh,
standards.
I'm sorry?
Objective zoning standards.
Objective zoning standard, yeah, some unimportant thing like that. And they had gotten back a version which they have now kicked over to a meeting in August because there are a number of small details that need to be ironed out, some of which may be just small details and some of which may be more substantive. So rather than spend hours and hours and hours doing line by line copy editing, they kicked it back to staff and the consultants to work those out. Some of it was just stuff was stuck in the wrong place, things like that. But it was enough that they felt that they couldn't spend the time in the meeting and come up with something that they could actually pass. I think generally they were in favor of what was there substantively, but they need to get the details worked out. So we're still waiting for that. And I suspect that when that is worked out, they're going to pass them and then that will be enacted. So.
And I just wanted to add in regards to that, there was a few things that caught my eye, things that were added that just I think might cause complications in terms of actual development projects and architecturally. So I made a list of stuff and I'm planning to send it to Guido and John. But I would encourage if the other commissioners, if you guys see anything, just maybe point that out because something might have been put in there that we don't want in there, or that might be confusing. So yeah.
Any agenda items that we should put on our calendar?
Chair Bodnar, so the next meeting is, I believe, August 5th. And the Packard Foundation, they're doing some improvements to their parking lot, some solar panel parking lot, other improvements. So we're taking that to the Planning Commission on August 5th.
Okay.
In September, October, I'll be taking the city's first SB 330 project to the Planning Commission and Complete Streets. And then in October, we're going to be having a joint Planning Commission, City Council meeting to talk about the 330 Distill Circle, the 90 unit project at 330 Distill. So those are the projects that are on my list.
Yeah. Can, Chair?
Yes.
Hi, yeah. So we did, you know how we did the SB 330 training with the planning commissioners, because, you know, we have the limit of 5 meetings and all of that. We did the training with the Complete Streets, so that when you have these joint meetings, you know, I know you're more into the design and the, you know, the architecture and all of that, but just so that they would be up to speed with the SB 330 requirements. And it turned out to be a good education for them because they weren't aware of these, you know, the SB 330 and the limitation of 5 meetings. And so they did have a lot of questions about how are these joint meetings going to work. And I said, well, we're just going to figure it out. But with projects that need to go to Planning Commission and Complete Streets and Council and be done in 5 meetings, we do have to have joint meetings. That's the only way we feel that we can do it. But
Okay, and did you say that's scheduled for October?
I'm getting through the CEQA process for that project. So as soon as we get through that process, then we'll calendar it for a joint Complete Streets Planning Commission meeting.
Okay, so just so I understand, we will be the meeting number 1 for that?
It's going to be a joint meeting with Planning Commission and Complete Streets.
But that will be the first of what will then can only be 5. Okay, so
Right.
maybe in anticipation of that, the chair of the Complete Streets and I can meet with staff in advance so that we can be really well prepared for that and make sure that we use our time as efficiently and
Absolutely. I'm having to do some Native American AB 52 consultation on the project. So as soon as I get through that, and as soon as I can release the CEQA document, then yeah, John Biggs and I will be setting up meetings with you and the vice chairs and the chair for the 2 commission and having that meeting. So.
okay, good. Okay.
Can I add a request to that, Ronit? I think that was a very good one. Can we also get the materials to us as soon as possible? Because we can be more efficient if we actually have a chance to study those, and we might even be able to send questions or something to staff who could get some questions, and that might speed the process up and allow us to focus on the stuff that we'd like to focus on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, as soon as I can release the CEQA document, then I will kick that document out. And then, yeah, definitely trying to get the staff report done early. And I do appreciate the culture of the city council where they do send us the questions early. And that really helps out staff be prepared. And yeah, definitely if we can do that for this project and other projects moving forward, it's a good habit to have, so.
Sorry, one quick question. Since our objective design standards are not officially passed, when we have these projects, what type of discussions should we be kind of gearing toward? Just because we don't want to point them towards something that's not official.
Yeah, so for the couple projects coming up, they will not be subject to the objective zoning standards handouts.
Okay.
But they'll be subject to objective standards. under
Yeah.
Housing Accountability Act. So
Right, right.
you're not going to be able to go back to the old design review, you know, Los Altos character,
Yeah.
something like that. So spoiler alert, you don't get to use that anymore. So,
Okay, just checking.
Okay, is there anything, other items, comments, future agenda items that the commissioners want to discuss before we adjourn our short but sweet meeting to help ensure that we maintain water service in Los Altos?
Small thing.
No?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to adjourn. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Hope you're having a
Thank
great
you.
summer.
Night.
Thank
too.
you.
Night.
Thank
See
you.
guys in August.
Bye-bye.